Welcome back to Wires from the Deep, a Silo podcast. Today is Saturday, May 6, 2023, and you're listening to episode 3, Outside the Law. I'm your host, Crystal, here with my co-host, Kelly.
Hey, everyone.
Okay, so we've both seen episode 1, and that's what we're going to break down today.
Yes, I've seen episode 1. Crystal has watched both episodes, but
twice.
that's okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to try my best. I made notes.
Yeah,
I know. But yeah, so I had messaged Kelly. When did I message you about it? I was like, did you watch it?
It was like Friday. When did it actually release? What time was it?
It was funny because we had been told that it was going to come out midnight Eastern, so everybody was preparing for that, and then 3 hours before it came out early, and everybody in Hugh's Facebook fan group, it started getting flooded with posts about it, of everybody saying it's up, it's available.
Yeah, and I'm the worst podcast host because I was like, no, I'm probably just gonna go to bed.
No, I think a lot of people had to wait, and for book fans and stuff, they're just like, I've been waiting for this for so long and I can't watch and it's terrible. But yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is, we only have time for our entertainment after we get our real life stuff in order, right? So yeah, I don't think it
didn't used to be like this.
But yeah, so I messaged Kelly and I was like, did you watch it? And she's just like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. Because I had been thinking, it would be really bad if she doesn't like it.
The thing is that I was worried too. I was like, okay, so Crystal's my friend, man, and we're doing this podcast and we're going to make a podcast about this show. And I have no idea what it's about or if I'll even remotely be interested in it. But actually, I did really like it a lot. And I liked it, I think, even more than I thought I would like it. So that's good. I feel compelled to
that's good. Otherwise, we would have had a 2-episode podcast.
Yeah.
Show's over.
I wish you'd have a new co-host. Kelly had to step away for personal reasons.
All right. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about first, and this is something that a lot of book fans have been bringing up, is that the scale of the silo is a lot bigger than what we're envisioning. And I actually really like that because I don't know, it's just it's impressive, and it's funny because it kind of goes back to what we were talking to Hugh about in our interview that we played in our last episode. Is we were talking to him about how the battle room in Ender's Game was so much fancier than in the book, right? And so it turns out it's the case here too, where the silo is much bigger, it's airier, and
I find that often happens when in my imagination, things are often much more scaled down or confined, and I never imagine things to be as open as they could be. Does that make any sense? Everything, every huge world fantasy novel I've ever read, and then I see a movie, it's just expanded so much more.
Yeah, I mean, it was like that with Harry Potter for me too.
Yeah, just the scale of everything.
Because I guess in my mind, I was like, yeah, it's a castle, but I didn't really think it was a ridiculously huge castle.
So what was the silo like in your mind when you read the book?
Okay, so I had thought there were some scenes in the episode that reminded me a lot of Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, or maybe it's Part 2. I think it's Part 1, but basically it's the District 13 stuff because they live underground. And so I went back and I looked at, I went and I scrolled through the movie, and that's actually closer to what I think what I envisioned in the book. It was like a metal. I'm pretty sure the staircase in the book was metal. So I guess I just thought it was like a standard staircase, or even maybe something like barely enough for 2 people.
I really liked how when they had their celebration, they had turned it half into a slide in places.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I maintain that those lanterns are a really bad idea. I don't care how many fire people you have on how many different levels. Set the whole place on fire.
Yeah, but I saw the slide on the second time I watched it. I was like, oh, that looks so fun.
Made me really happy.
But one thing that I started thinking about later, because there's so much space, because the staircase is a lot wider than what I thought, which makes more sense because there's kind of a lot of people living in it than I kind of expected to. So it feels like if you had a skinnier staircase, it just wouldn't be able to accommodate as much traffic as it probably does.
Yeah, even when
Um,
that guy was like running to get the doctor and ran into the guy with the backpack, I was like, dude, you totally could have gone around him, man. You just like you just ran into him on purpose.
what I was thinking was, I wonder how many times he had to like run into him and push him like that before they got the shot.
Yeah. All
Uh,
I know is one of the first things I thought when watching this was that I could never, ever, ever, ever live in the silo. There are way too many people living like way too closely together. I would
yeah.
absolutely, that is not for me. I need like me, my dogs, and like 10 acres between me and like all the other people.
Yeah, I was actually wondering last week. I don't know what I was doing, taking notes or something. I was like, I wonder if they have pets,
Oh my
and
God,
like
imagine if they don't have pets.
I know
What
I
kind of
would.
life is that? They
I
have
know.
cows because we need dairy, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean,
These
I feel
people,
like it would just be
oh,
like super controlled, like how they are with like the birth control
everything.
stuff. Yeah, like they were heavily regulating like human reproduction. So I mean, I was thinking they must just do that with pets too,
I don't
because
think they'd
there's
have a
no
stray dog
way.
problem.
Yeah, but like I don't think they would just be like, no, we can't have pets, because I think people would just like just lose their shit, right?
However, like in a situation like that, you would totally be using like animal testing. Like if the whatever is outside, what they see out their window is real, you'd be sending like animals outside to kind of like test, right? To see like
Mm,
how things are going.
yeah, like canaries and
Yeah.
yeah. Huh.
Not that I approve of this, totally against it, but we would do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the brutality of like the genre of
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic in general, right? So, okay, so going back to the staircase,
Sorry.
did you notice how much? No, no, no. But did you notice how much space there was between like the staircase and like where like the living spaces
It's
are?
really open.
Yeah, it was really open, and I just kept thinking, it's really scary how it kind of seems like you could literally fall from all the way at the top all the way to the bottom.
Well, that's when in the episode when they said that that guy jumped, I was like, holy shit! Like, because I was thinking, I mean, they said on the rails or whatever, but I was thinking you could jump from like the top of the corn cob place like all the way to the bottom. That would really, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's what
So
they meant.
okay, so one of the early shots that I really liked was how the lights came on, basically, right? So like they have
Mm-hmm.
like, I guess, simulated daylight where like
Mm-hmm.
the lights turn on, and the lights go off at a certain time to simulate how it is outside.
I also thought they
Um
were doing that during the ceremony, during the moment of silence. Didn't they
yeah,
also dim the
yeah,
lights?
yeah,
And
they dim the lights. But so do you think, I mean, because what that shot that I'm thinking of where the lights turn on and you can kind of see like the design of like circles around the center of the ceiling,
hmm.
it kind of, I'm assuming that was near the top because that's where the sheriff's office and everything is.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think, because like after what I just said, that, well, can you fall from the top all the way to the bottom? Like, do you think that they would actually need to have like floors periodically so that they can have lights for
You
different
would think that that would
sections?
also be like a stability issue, like
Mm,
one just stairs up the middle of it. I don't know how high it is exactly, but you would need those points where it just all connected to keep it from falling over, I think,
yeah,
or collapsing it on itself.
yeah. I don't know anything about structural engineering, so.
Neither do I. Nothing.
Okay, so let's move on to Holston and Allison winning their lottery. I thought it was interesting, and I don't know if this is the case, if it's because he's the sheriff that they had a computer in their home with like their
Oh yeah,
pregnancy.
do they all have those? Like
I don't know. I
yeah,
mean, somebody noticed that their system of communication is called silo mail. So I don't know. Do you think?
inventive.
I mean, I would think that maybe if they need to contact everybody, they would want to control being able to like distribute information to people. Or do you think it's more like certain people have those and then they also have like a PA system or something?
I feel like there must be Well, I don't know. I didn't see a lot of technology, so I wouldn't think that everyone would have such a thing in their house.
But I mean,
However,
John's has had like her microphone, right? So she was speaking to the whole
yeah,
silo. So
right. You know what? I One thing that I did think was just completely crazy, and I'm sure it was because there were like many scenes that were cut in between, but everyone in the silo seemed to know that they had been granted clearance for pregnancy like instantly.
I know.
And I was
I
like,
was like,
whoa. I'm like,
when like they were
how
in the
did
cafeteria, and I was like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing. I would be so. I'll
just
be.
because I was taking notes for you, it reminded me of like an Ender's Game when there's the board on the wall and it would be like, here they are, status, conceiving. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's so weird that everyone just seemed to completely be clued in on their business, which makes me think maybe there is something like a home computer for everyone. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe
I
it's a
mean,
huge
there
gossip.
must. Yeah. I mean, there must be like a board, right? They
It's
announce like the winners by name or whatever.
congratulations. Yeah,
But
it's
oh
very
my god,
bizarre.
that counter though, it's like in their home and it's beeping and it's telling them how much time they have left, like down to the minute.
Doesn't that make you feel like sexy?
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Oh man, the pressure. And then when you think about the fact that they have gone through that pressure for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way. Isn't that like really bad for if you're trying to conceive, like all that stress? Anyway, even if she was
I
off
mean,
her
I
birth
would think
control. My
so.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a really effective way of like just bringing the severity of like their living situation right to the forefront because I mean, yeah, I mean that was a very common theme in Ender's Game too, right? Is like the control that the government
hmm
has
hmm
over reproduction. So,
I guess it also to me felt like sort of a way of making it look like maybe it is that she was just kind of slowly going crazy and building up, like, that tension building up, like, because I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know
hmm
what's outside or what they see, if that's real or not. I mean, who knows? And I think the counter did a really good job of that.
yeah, I thought they built the tension really well
Yeah.
because
She kind of did
but
seem a little crazy.
yeah, she did. I mean, like when they lead up to the cafeteria scene,
I was like, whoa, lady.
I cried like twice during the episode, and the first time was in the cafeteria because she looked legitimately like she was losing it, right? I mean, she's like sweating
But
and
I mean, I guess you would if if you had found out your whole life,
well, plus
over
she had
there.
just like cut something like giant
Blood
out of her.
loss was involved, yes.
But so since we're talking about that birth control like device is much bigger than I
I thought he was like
thought.
pulling out an IUD, right? I was like, I had no idea what was actually going on behind the curtain until he
Uh
held up
huh.
that thing, and it was.
Yeah.
And I think even then, I didn't quite understand where he had like removed that from,
Yeah.
and at the thought of her like going in through like an old scar is really alarming to
Oh
me.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
Because I
she
was
would have.
thinking, like, how would she know where to cut? And I was like, well, of
Yeah.
course she knows.
Yeah, because
As
they
long as,
removed it, and
but then
and
why wouldn't the doctor like do it in a different place? You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever. If he was just faking it anyway.
I don't know. I mean, maybe like I mean they must know where it goes in because at some point as an adult female, like they must have to get it put in so they'll know where the scar is,
Oh yeah,
right?
that's a good
So
point. Yeah. When does
yeah.
it go
So
in? Just like puberty? Jesus Christ.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I mean, if you think about it, they probably have to put it in as soon as
Like
you
as soon
know.
as, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Because that's
So what did you think of the doctor? Because I found him creepy before they revealed what he was like
he
the
was eerie.
conspiracy
Yeah,
that
he was definitely a weirdo.
yeah, and I just kept thinking, oh my god, if like you had no choice in your OBGYN and it had to be that guy. Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going back. I don't want a baby that bad. You know, turn around.
So Kelly had been asking me this and I didn't know either. At the very start of the episode, Holston
Oh yeah,
is
the note.
narrating and he said or yeah, he wrote a note. Yeah, he
Oh,
wrote
sorry.
yeah, yeah, right. He wrote a note. Double the flowers in front of the mirror. But I don't
What
know
does
what
that
that
mean?
is. I don't know.
That
But
well, I tried to picture it literally how that would have any significance if there were flowers in front of a mirror. But is it like a code for something?
um, I was thinking maybe
Literal flowers in front of a literal mirror?
okay. So when he writes that, he's like about to
It's like a
go.
suicide note,
He's
basically, right? That he's leaving.
no. Maybe it's like that's like flowers for Allison.
Oh, okay.
Although, why would he double
See,
them?
when at that first scene when he was writing that and tucking things away in files, I thought that was him like putting his affairs in order before he
Mm-hmm.
says, I want to go out. Is that how
Yeah.
you took it? Maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea.
I don't know. I have to admit that first time I was watching,
Hey, you've watched it twice.
I was kind of overwhelmed because I've been waiting for this for so long. So
Oh.
when I was watching, it was like, oh my god, I'm actually watching it
Well,
now.
I know that's why I told you. Like, I was really engaged and I was going to take notes the whole time, and I just stopped taking notes. Like, I don't know, halfway through, and then not really until the end. So,
Yeah, I was like that too. I was like, I
yeah,
gotta take notes so that I know where to pause and go back to. And then I just kind of just forgot and I was just watching. So
yeah.
that's a good sign though.
I would like to say I got really, really excited when I saw that Geraldine James was in this show. She plays the Mayor Johns, I guess. And I watched Anne with an E, which was like a Netflix show, and she was in that. And I was just like so happy to see her. I really like her as an actress. So shout out to Geraldine James.
I really liked her portrayal. Because I really like Johnson the book, so it was really nice to see her. And
I really hope she's not like, because I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but you compared her to like, President Coin. President Coin, right?
well, no, it was more the scene.
The speech, right?
Yeah,
The
it's
speech,
not.
okay.
It's not the mannerism of the character. It's more like
Basically, I just don't want her to be bad. So
yeah, no. It was more just the way that she was standing there, and they both have white hair, and like you can see everybody just staring up at her, and she's making a loud speech on a microphone. So that's like the imagery that I had been that came to my mind first. It was President Coyne addressing District 13 in the underground bunker.
But she's not bad, right?
No.
Oh, thank God. I like her a lot.
Yeah. Especially since she was knitting. Oh my god. I know I had talked about what is that? Is that a bee?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god, yeah, there was this tiny little bee that just flew really close to the microphone and then left. I can't believe you heard that. And I was like watching it. Wow.
What were we talking about?
Geraldine James.
Okay, so since we were talking about the speech, the imagery in the middle of the silo really brought to mind the District 13 scenes in Mockingjay Part 1. Just the way that the shots were composed and the way that everybody was cheering and stuff like that. So yeah, I like that. But I also really like the song they were singing.
I thought it was lovely. I thought it had a really good like melody.
Yeah.
When she was like walking through everyone singing it, I wanted her to like, I was like, have a little bit of respect for this possibly fake.
And then she listens to you and she stops.
She did. I think everyone has to stop for a moment of silence. I mean,
I did like that they made Holston's singing voice like you could hear it, like not just like it was silent and you were just watching him sing. I liked hearing him sing.
I don't know if I noticed that.
Oh yeah, I thought it was touching because I mean he's the sheriff, he's like the lawman. You kind of expect him to be like kind of stoic and above that kind of thing, but I liked that he was singing. So and then one more thing. Okay, so I wanted to talk about like technology. So one thing I noticed is that they don't seem to have photographs. They don't have like the portraits. There were portraits in Holston and Allison's apartment, and those are all painted. Like they had a lot of paintings of each other.
Are all I mean, I guess that what's the difference between a relic and a non-relic? Like, why is a microphone a non-relic, but maybe like cameras, maybe none survived because they burned them all?
Yeah, I don't know.
All of this rubble, when they burned everything, it sounded to me kind of like maybe they didn't just destroy like tapes and recordings, but also everything that's used to record stuff, which is very convenient, if they managed to do that.
It was a little confusing because I kind of thought like Johns was specifically saying, they burned all these things, like they did it on purpose. But I kind of had thought that like with a rebellion, it's just that, in the ensuing like battles and stuff like that, all these things are lost,
I think they just set off too many lanterns.
They landed on the servers and
this is what happened, and it was really embarrassing, so we covered it all up. The end.
But But yeah, so there's also portraits on Allison's desk in her office, and those are
Hmm.
painted too. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for that because I'm really curious about why would pictures be a problem?
Yeah, I don't know. That's really weird.
Like not even just like digital cameras, but like Polaroids or something like that, you know?
Right.
Not that you would like
Right.
literally have like a branded Polaroid
Right.
camera, but just, you know, the general technology. I mean,
Well, I haven't read the books, but maybe they got rid of all that stuff on purpose, Crystal.
yeah.
I would also like to say, on a completely different topic, that if I were the sheriff, I would make sure that my office were way more soundproof than that. Not just because I want to have sex in my office, but I mean, don't you do like secretive things in your sheriff
I
office,
know,
sir?
like don't you like
That was
talk
really
to the
embarrassing.
mayor? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny though, I
Oh, I
laughed.
laughed too, but I was thinking, man,
So, since we're talking about that, I really like Will Patton as Marnes. He's a deputy, the guy that he when you know when he locked himself in the cell
yeah,
and then
yeah, okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That I think that's when I teared up. That was just like really horrible.
Yeah, because yeah, he was he did that scene really well. You know, like it was like this is his friend and his mentor, and he
Hmm.
just you can tell he really respects him and really looks up to him, and just he was just overcome, right? He just didn't want to. I was trying to get him to not say it, but and
But
it was
what
very
can you do? You can't
yeah,
stop. That's
yeah,
crazy.
and it was really similar to the emotional gravity of the scene when Allison says it. Just I love the way that they did that. Like Holston is just standing there, like in a really
Yeah.
awkward position, like he's leaning forward and he's just frozen, and he just looks like his world has ended. You know,
Well,
it's
I guess
just
it has, right? Like,
yeah.
and I find it so interesting that the biggest rule is that they can't say that they want to go outside. Why is it so important that someone can't say that? Like, if they say it and you don't do anything, what is so bad that happens? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know that I don't know that it's that they're not supposed to say it. It's just that if they say it, they're going outside. You know,
right, right, but once you go outside, you're dead.
I mean, I guess there's two different ways to look at it because I mean, people who want to go outside, they'll go outside. But I think they also use it as punishment. So like you could not say the words and they could send you outside. Like if you
Oh,
did
I
something
see.
bad
I didn't
enough.
know that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because they talk about she talked about that guy Brent, you know, like how he had said that he wasn't gonna clean and
Hmm.
stuff like that. Yeah, so
But I mean, but it definitely. So if you say it to anyone out loud, it definitely seems that you can't come back from that. Like you can't take it back or like
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
And I just don't understand why. Like, why is that so important to them? I don't know. Maybe it means nothing.
The impression I get is that because Johns talks about I think it was in the cafeteria like
Is it
right
like the
before
ultimate disloyalty? Like,
I think it's just because but I
yeah,
mean
that's
she
hard.
does
Yeah.
she does touch on it though like she talks about how she's scared of instability and I think it's just because I think if a lot of people talk about wanting to go outside, then
Hmm.
everybody's going to want to go outside. And I think that's what they said the rebellion was about, right? They wanted to go outside, right? And that's what they were fighting about. I think that's what they said.
But like, they're showing that these people are dying. So it's like, I don't know. It just seems like a massive cover up for something. But then John seems chill. So I'm not really sure what to think.
Okay, so that actually ties in pretty well to like what's happening now in the real world is like you know people are just constantly talking about how what we're being told is not the truth and like
Mhm.
people have a hard time accepting what they're told in like the media and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I don't know. I totally see that being a thing like an issue and you make it so that it's all people who depend on the fact that they have to keep the doors closed and then you have like an even like more like a pressure cooker right
Right.
so I can see it where it's like maybe there's the people who just believe that you know like it's like somebody who just wants to just go day to day and like they're fine
Yeah, well, it's
you
one
know
of those things where you always do what you've always done because that's the way it's been done, and when you start questioning that, it gets tricky,
Yeah.
especially when like the order of everything depends on everyone doing their part. And again, like you said, not everyone wanting to go outside at once or whatever.
Yeah.
Just, well, I don't know. I just don't know. I have to watch the second episode, which I'm going to do shortly.
Okay, so we had just talked a little bit about technology, but I wanted to actually talk about like the computers and stuff or talk more about the computers because everything looks like how computers looked for me when it was like in the 80s.
Well, when is
You know,
this meant to have taken place? So when was it written? Do you know off the top of your head?
I'm really bad with
That's
dates.
okay. And then I'm just like, if it took place in a certain time, if it took place in the 80s, then that's what they would have had like left over.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, you're talking about like not when like the book was like written in
I
our world.
mean,
You're talking about when
kind of.
like
I was just trying to get an idea of like if I knew when it
you
was
mean like the
written,
time
then
the time period of the universe, right?
yes, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
In the end.
Yeah, I don't remember because
Hmm.
I seem to at one point remember trying to determine like how many years it's have they been living underground, and I don't know if I ever figured that out. So
Yeah, I mean, in the show when they mentioned 140 years, I thought that was how long they'd been in the silo, but no, that's how long since the rebellion.
yeah,
So
yeah. And then John's also talks about the archives that she has on in her
mhm.
office. I think she said it was like 90 something years, or was that
Mm,
only what she had gone through?
I don't remember.
Yeah. And I guess it's also possible that like, they lost a lot of their higher technology and had to like go back and dig into storage for their old computers and
Right. But I
yeah, and
mean, you
that's all they
need
could.
power to like power all this stuff. And I mean, they had to sort out I mean, if they're hiding stuff, you know what I mean? Like they must have gone through and it's just so hard to say.
So what did you think of Bernard?
You're going to have to remind me who Bernard is.
He's Tim Robbins, Allison's boss.
Um,
Because like for me, I was like, I don't know. I think it's the case for a lot of people where like a lot of people know an IT guy just like him. And I remember like an IT guy just like him in an office I used to work in, where he's just got that mannerism of where he's just really irritated that you've done something that he didn't approve of.
oh yeah, yeah, I liked him. He seems very no nonsense. I don't know.
I don't know. I really liked. I mean, we didn't get to see him for very long, right?
Yes,
But
yeah.
I liked that he was just very micromanagey, and also like he just looked really uncomfortable to be talking to somebody, and that's just I don't know. I just find that kind of typical with IT people, where they're just more used to like dealing with like coding and computers, and they just don't want
Right.
to talk to people. So, but it's funny because as soon how as soon as he walked away, she called him a fucking asshole.
I know. I was like, oh,
It's like, oh, that's straight out of my mind.
yeah.
And then, okay, so I wanted to talk about food too, because so this is not like really a spoiler. It's more like comparative details. But like in the books, the food that they eat is a lot simpler. Like they eat a lot of just apples and corn and bread and
Yeah,
just like
this it kind of looked like every floor had its own like ethnic diversity where you could go in and
yeah.
get,
Yeah, like I saw
different
steamed
tacos.
buns
Yeah,
and there was like
yeah.
a pretzel vendor and I actually saw cotton candy, which I thought was funny because I just got a cotton candy machine from Amazon Vine.
Did you really?
Yeah. And my son has been obsessed with using that thing, so it was kind of funny to
How
see
fun.
it pop up.
I love cotton candy. I'm a sugar
Yeah.
fiend, so
And it was pink cotton candy too.
nice.
So,
Isn't that
I
the
don't know.
original?
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting that like, because I guess I always thought that in a silo, so many years after they've been locked in there.
There would be like more assimilation.
Well, no, I just thought that there would be like more. It would be leaner, like resource wise.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, like,
It makes it
I
seem like
I
that place must just be way bigger than I can even comprehend. That
yeah
they've managed to.
yeah
I couldn't help but like be reminded of the Tower of Babel too, and like thinking like what it would actually mean if. I mean, that has to be like a really huge population of people in order to for everyone to be able to pair up and continue on lines and not, intermarry and things like that. Like, imagine how many people that would actually take after so long.
I think the press description of the story has been it's the last 10,000 people on Earth.
The last 10,000 people on Earth.
So I guess I don't know. Who do you think would be in charge of population counts and stuff like that? And
I don't know,
who?
judicial. They kept talking about judicial, and I still don't know who that
Yeah,
is. It's probably them.
yeah. Because I was really confused about judicial because Holston is not part of judicial.
I know. Who's judicial? The
I
mayor
don't
doesn't
know.
seem like she's part of judicial.
I think in the book there was a judge, so
Is
maybe they're
she the mayor of like the whole silo?
yeah, yeah. So I guess it's like
Is
how
it
there's law and
democracy?
order.
Is she like voted in?
There's police and then there's lawyers. So maybe that's what judicial is.
Lawyers. And I'm guessing that they just uphold like the law, whatever, or the pact. Isn't that what it's called? The pact.
Well, see, that's what was confusing for me because the soldiers in black, they were
Mm-hmm.
described as being part of judicial, but I would think that soldier police people would be part of being under Holston because he's
Right.
like the cops,
Right.
right? And then you have the lawyers in judicial, so it was kind of weird to me that there's like a I don't know soldiers in the law portion of the silo, so.
Yeah, I just do not know how that all works.
So okay, so there was that part where they flash back to Holston going and talking to all the people that Allison had been in contact with. So that lady Gloria, and then what's his face George. They went and arrested George to
Is
talk
George
to
the guy
him.
that jumped?
Yeah, at the
Sad,
end
I
of the
liked
episode.
him.
Yeah, but yeah, he's that guy.
Do we
But
know what happened to Gloria?
I don't no, I don't think so. Yeah, they don't mention it, but
Hmm. Long live
they
Gloria.
just they show her she gets they go to her apartment and stuff. But see,
Mm.
so I didn't pay attention enough to know, but I think it was Holston and Marnes and they had some of the judicial soldiers with them. So yeah, I hope we get to learn a little bit more of how their two departments work because I don't know, I would just do they answer to Holston, but are they in a separate department or yeah.
I have no idea.
These are all questions to keep in mind.
Well, they kept saying that like that judicial was listening somehow, and if that were the chief, I mean, or I'm sorry, the sheriff, she wouldn't have like turned on the water and been all weird, right? Like she would have. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he's not part of judicial in any way, right?
Hmm.
Hmm. Or maybe he
Well, I
is.
mean, I also got the impression that they were, trying to portray her as being a little
Like
paranoid.
paranoid.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't
Hmm.
know, but I can see that being the case. I mean, our phones listen to everything we talk about,
They definitely do. Yeah.
right? So, but you would think that they would be able to hear above water. So I don't know that that makes any difference. You
I
would think that they would just start scratching on notepads or something instead.
instead of no problem here. We're just running the water for half an hour. It's fine.
Yeah, and you'd think that they would regulate that
Right?
kind of thing
Right?
too.
Exactly. Like
Like
we're
you,
living in a corn cob. You have to like turn
yeah,
your water off.
we know. We just knock on your door. Excuse me, but you've been running your water for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about Allison and what she says about how because the lady Gloria puts into her brain that puts into her mind that
That they don't want
she's
her to have kids
yeah
because
that
she's
they
not
don't
the
want her to
right type
have
of
kids.
person.
Yeah, so I don't know that they established enough of her being the rebellious type for them to say that
I'm going
at
to
that
go as
point.
far as to say no, they didn't. I mean, like the
Yeah,
only rebellious thing I saw was that she had a
she
couple
bad
questions.
and she badmouthed her boss,
Yeah,
right?
which seemed nobody reacted in a way that made it seem like that was
Yeah, because I mean,
outrageous.
they show her she just sits at her desk at work, and I don't know. I mean, she put something out that Bernard didn't like, but it just seemed kind of small, day to day office stuff where
And
people
they've been
butt
like,
heads.
cutting her off. This is like their third try, so it's not just now. I mean,
Yeah,
there's stuff I guess we didn't see,
yeah.
but yeah, she
I
just
mean,
seems like maybe a little bit opinionated. Or I don't know, like a normal person with thoughts and feelings, just not like a placid. I
Yeah.
don't know what they're looking for.
I guess maybe I wish they had like given us some context, like how docile do they want people to be? Because she
So
seemed,
docile that they never asked to go outside, apparently.
uh, yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know.
it made sense to me in that she believed this, but I don't know that they portrayed her as enough of a like a loudmouth or whatever to make it that this
Do
is
you
why
feel
they're
like she was
punishing her.
portrayed that way in the book? If
I don't remember.
okay. Well, we don't know if they screwed that up or not.
I did really really like Rashida Jones's performance as her though. She was
No, I
really
did
good.
too. Yeah.
But yeah, so going back to that scene in the cafeteria when or actually I'm gonna rewind a little bit to back when she's sitting in the apartment and he comes and he finds her. That is, she's definitely tough because I don't know that I could cut myself open and pull that thing out.
And I think that is what like also makes me at least think that maybe it was a bit of psychosis. I mean, I'm assuming not because I'm watching a TV show, but I think that requires a little bit of something going on to like get a knife and
Yeah.
slice into yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
no matter what I think is however much I want a baby or what I think is going on, I can't really see myself. I think they didn't portray how desperate she must have been to
Mhm.
be in that place,
Yeah, I feel like
even with the ticking clock.
yeah, because like that I think that ties into what we were just talking about. Is she portrayed as enough as like too hot headed or whatever? It didn't really seem like it because she was pretty chill all the way towards the end, up until basically up until she's sitting in the apartment with after she's cut herself.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, based on that and just the character that I've seen in the show, I can totally understand. Like her husband must have thought that she went like completely mad. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think at least that she gave him any indication, except for like maybe within 48 hours. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the flashbacks to like the stuff with, or maybe yeah, maybe the scenes with like George and stuff took up a little too much time because the episode was pretty long in like runtime.
yeah.
I thought because you know how like shows are typically 45 minutes. I think this was like a solid hour. I think.
I was. I didn't even pay attention. I mean, I will admit that I was completely engrossed. Like I was committed, and I wanted to know what was going on, and it didn't feel long to me at all. And I really enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
we have to
Not
get
that
off
we're
here
not.
so I can watch the second episode.
But yeah. Now that we've talked about it, I think I would have preferred seeing a little more of her descent into like the hysteria that we see her
Yeah.
in instead of just going from A to B, you
But then,
know?
like, we don't know what she saw on those tapes. Like maybe she saw something that was. I mean, I don't know what it was. So
Well, if you go back, you can see it in her glasses.
yeah, I mean, I know she saw the blue sky and the birds, but
Yeah.
they were watching tons of videos, and she was
Yeah.
in there for
Yeah.
ages. So we just saw like one thing in her glasses. So I don't know. She could have seen anything that made her like.
I feel like maybe like scenes got cut because
Of course, yeah.
when he comes to talk to her, she says you don't always listen.
I'm like,
Um
wait, what?
yeah.
He
it was
seems
like
really great, actually.
yeah, he
Like
seems like a really
no
nice
one listens
husband.
to me that much. Yeah.
But yeah,
But
yeah, I
that's how it
think
always is with these shows. They film, 16 hours of something and chop it down into whatever they
yeah,
come up
yeah.
with. And
But the second time that I started crying was for her cleaning because oh my god, that was so emotional. Like when he had to read her, the pact before she was going
yeah,
to like and
shit,
just
right?
yeah, his face. Oh my god, he's just
It's
like
so
just
good.
overcome and he's still doing it. I really
And
like that
she looked
line.
like gleeful.
Yeah.
Just not
Like
like in a I'm so happy to get away from you, but like she fully believed that
yeah.
going outside was the
She looked
right
full of
thing.
hope,
Yeah,
right?
completely like I don't know. She thought she
She
would see
looked
him
she
again for
looked
sure.
she looked ready,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
yeah. When he's I really like that line he gave in John's office, when they're like trying to figure out a way to like, get
Mhm.
around it because
Mhm.
she's the sheriff's wife. They gotta, they can't
Yeah, yeah. No,
they
I know
know
what line you
him.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, he says, "What's the point of taking a vow if I only do it when it's easy or something like that. I
Shit,
really
right?
like that one. Yeah.
And because you're like, yeah, totally, but like that.
Yeah. But that spoke a lot to his character because like
Yeah.
Holston in the books, I thought it was a short story, he's only in part
Hmm.
1, and he just built the character of like the honor system of Holston in this short period of time, which is really hard to do. And like I thought that line really helped to cement like how dedicated he is to his
Uh-huh.
job and as a person, like his own personal honor system and beliefs and stuff.
And
And
I think that also makes his choice in the end to go outside even more powerful because he's clearly decided something. Do you know what I mean? Like even
yeah.
after all that.
And so like we're me and Kelly were discussing this a little bit, is the time jumping around in the episode. I found this pretty confusing. And usually I'm okay with time jumping, but yeah, I found it kind of it was a little confusing for me just because it starts off in like I guess present time, and then they go back 3 years, and then the transition back to the present was kind of jarring. I
It
think it's
was.
just
It
I
was.
think it's just Marnes is like talking to him in the cell again, and I was like, what? And it took me a beat to like figure out, oh, okay, they're back to talking in the cell.
I don't know why, but I think it may have been easier for me having only read the short story because it was really jogging my memory of
Uh-huh.
what I had read, and I knew it was like only the surface layer of all this, but it made sense to what they were doing, at least for me. But yeah, I
Yeah.
still it was jarring. But again, it's just editing. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. I think, okay, I know what it was. It was because it started off with Holston in the present saying he's going to clean. It cuts back to Allison, and actually, the short was like this too. But it's somehow easier with like a book because you can just turn the page back and just check something very easily, right? But like with a show, you gotta like, wait, where did I see
See,
that?
that's
Wait.
so interesting that you're saying that because we were just talking earlier about how I haven't read the book, and I think one of the reasons is because with books I find time changes between chapters very confusing, or
Uh
between
huh.
books, and so I think we're just like wired differently. We're like two
Yeah.
different people. Yeah, I have a much easier time with shows than I do books, actually.
Okay, so looking back at the episode, there's actually three time periods that they cover in this. They have the present with Holston, they
Mm-hmm.
have Allison 3 years ago, and they have Holston going down to meet Juliet, and that's a year prior.
I
I don't
think
know.
it's after,
There's a
right?
there,
Isn't it
there's
after?
maybe it's
Oh, a year prior to Holston saying he's going to go outside.
yeah,
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
maybe.
and then there's also a 2 years ago
I think that
thing.
Juliet was the 2 years after
Okay,
she went
okay.
outside.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
my
okay, yeah,
memory.
yeah, 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 yeah. You're right.
Also, I remember this girl from the trailer, so I figure she is an upcoming main character. That is what I've deduced.
Who
Because
are you talking about?
Juliet, is that
Juliet.
her
Oh,
name? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
trailer, I feel like I saw her a lot.
Yeah,
So,
she's the main character. So,
oh, the main character of the show, the book I haven't read. Okay,
but you're right.
I was just being silly.
She is featured very very prominently in the trailer. So
Yes,
yeah,
and I recognized
yeah.
her. I had forgotten all about her, is what I mean, until they showed her, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's that girl from the trailer." Like, just not having seen her the whole time, I didn't even notice.
So you know how they show George's body like at the end, because like so
Oh yeah, that guy.
like we were
Yeah,
just like we
yes.
were just talking about how it goes to like 2 years later. So it's like 3 years
That
ago,
was
two
weird. Like,
years
when were they
ago,
looking at his
present.
body? Like, how long it had been in the fridge? That was, and where were they?
I
That was all
think
very strange for
I
me.
think
Yes.
they're in mechanical because Marnes talks about how it took them a day to walk down.
Is mechanical like on the bottom?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And the sheriff is at the top.
And
And it takes a
George,
day to walk down. Yeah. When
yeah.
I remember
So
when he said that, I was like, Jesus Christ.
yeah, and I was thinking that too. I was like, how how tall would each floor have to
They're
be?
like, no elevator.
Yeah, there's no elevator.
There's no elevator. That really sucks. They must all be fit though.
Yeah, yeah. Unless you spend all your time wherever you are, right?
I have a coworker who is constantly like getting in her steps and like telling me how many steps she's done for the day. It kind of reminds me of that. She would thrive in the silo. She would love that shit.
Do you think they have Fitbits in the silo? Or do you have to like do it manually? Like you gotta count in your head and
I think she would do that. I think she would count in her head.
yeah. My mother-in-law's like that too. She's like, "Oh, I still didn't get all my steps in yet."
It's funny, we do this like fun thing outside. The kids are like having recess and we'll do mall walking, which we call like lapping the track.
Oh,
We're doing our mall walking. It's because I'm approaching 40, so it's like that's what I'm headed toward.
I'm already there, so
You don't do any mall walking, Crystal.
I jog now,
Do you
actually.
really? Good for you.
Yes. Yeah, so I was happy to see like the really wide like spaces that people can walk in because it's like, oh, people
I
can
could do
jog
my
in the
jogging.
silo. They
No,
can
no.
just jog around in a circle.
I would become the ultimate hermit in the silo. I would never leave my trailer or pod or whatever they have there. It seemed
Okay, so actually, I wanted to ask you this: where do you think you would work? Like, would you be in the farms with the
I
animals, or would you
oh
be in a school,
okay.
or
I'm in a school now. I really do like animals. I have no idea. Like cows produce so much like nasty shit in their, you know,
well, if they have
gas
cows,
passing. So I have no idea how they keep cows in that place. I
yeah,
didn't
if
see
they
any chickens. I would definitely be the chicken owner.
no, but they must have chickens.
Right? They're the best. They lay eggs. You eat the eggs. They keep laying eggs. You don't have
I
to eat
mean,
them.
they can't just have only cows, right? They must have
I don't understand why
other.
they would need cows anyway. Dairy is that it takes so much effort to like process dairy to be like drinkable and storable. That seems like a waste of
Hmm.
effort. Waste of effort. And I'm not a vegan. I
Well, I would have been a little weirded out if it was all like all their milk in the silo was from humans.
ew.
Ew,
Me
yeah,
too.
exactly. It's a
But
little too
you
dystopian
don't
for
need
me.
milk. You don't need it.
Put cereal in a whole new perspective. I think I'll just skip the morning cereal. I don't need cornflakes that bad.
I can see myself as a silo hermit raising the chickens on level as far as you can get from everyone, which I don't know what that'd be.
I would be in textiles and I would be like knitting garments and things.
Oh, nice. I can see that for you.
I'm sure
I
there are
hope we
people
can live.
actually, yeah, since they have like they were wearing a lot of knitwear. So they must
They
have
must
sheep.
have,
They
yeah.
must have sheep too, or maybe I don't think they'd have alpacas, but
But maybe
um, yeah, maybe. But yeah, they must have other livestock. So
chickens, that's me. You can find me on level 86, all on my own, just tending to my chickens.
what are chicken farms called? Are they called something?
Uh, poultry farm? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Poultry hut?
I have no idea. The coops, the coop level.
The chicken?
Okay, so let's actually talk about because like we talked about her before her cleaning. So I wanted to talk a bit about while she was outside because this is a detail difference, not a spoiler, but like in the books, I believe the face shield is black, so you can't see their face, but you could see her face. And so I just was kind of curious why they went with that, and I wanted to know if you thought that that was a mistake because if they're sending people outside and they're trying to keep the blue skies a secret, by like making everybody see a dead world outside, but it's actually blue outside. But so I would think that once somebody goes outside and sees what it's really like, they don't want communication back into the silo, and they know that
Right.
everybody's watching.
Hmm.
And there
Yeah.
have to be people in the silo who can lip read, guarantee. And just just they don't she doesn't make any motions like pointing at the sky excitedly kind of thing you know
Yeah. It's so weird for me because I have no idea if what they are seeing is real or not. I mean, I can
Yeah.
guess. I assume
Yeah,
it's
because
not.
she throws all the confusion into that by
But
saying that it's not real, right?
she tells him like she and I missed a little bit of it, but she said if what I see is, blue sky and birds, I'll clean.
Yeah.
And then she goes and cleans. She doesn't look like euphoric. She just looks pleasantly happy, does her cleaning, turns around and dies, I guess is what I just don't understand the point of that. Like why they would even, if they just wanted to show like a hologram or some fake death, they would just have her walk out clean or not clean and drop dead, right? So I don't know why they would want to show her face.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, I assumed it was just for dramatic effect, like they wanted Holston to be able to see her face, but I just felt like she looks so stoic and calm, and I don't feel like they had built it up to be that that's how she would be.
I feel like it would go one or two ways, right? She would either just be like, "It is beautiful out here. I can't believe it," or "Wow, they were right, and I'm about to die." Like
Because yeah,
what
because
else is there?
we were just talking about how, she looked gleeful when she was like being suited up, like she felt like she was going to paradise, right?
Like when people are
So
about to meet Jesus, that's how she
yeah.
looked. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when she's outside, she's
It's like,
seen what she
like,
wants to see, so why doesn't she look
like
much happier?
this is all right. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, so I feel like that was probably a mistake, and they should have blacked out her helmet thing so that nobody could see what she looked like,
Right.
So yeah.
I would agree with you, but I have no idea what's coming, so I can't say. I
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
know.
I don't
I'm
know what's
like, I don't
coming
know.
either, so
We'll
I
see.
have a basic framework. I don't have any idea what they're going to do, so but that's part of the exciting thing, so. All right, so that about wraps it up, right? For
I
the
think
first
so.
episode?
I have to
Yeah.
go watch the other episode,
Yeah.
so I have
Alrighty.
to be back here in an hour and a half.
Yeah. Just to go over some things going on in the fan community, there's the Down Deep Discord, which you can join to chat with other fans. There's the official Facebook fan group that Hugh Howey runs. There's the subreddits. There's for Wool, and which is the books, and then there's Silo series, which is for the show. I've been finding it really hard to keep like spoilers straight in my head. Like there's
Oh, I
book
can imagine. I
spoilers
have no idea how
and
you do
there's
that.
show
And you've
spoilers
seen 2
and
episodes. I've only seen 1.
yeah, it's hard to keep it all straight in my head. But yeah. So we had our first watch party for the first 2 episodes yesterday, which is pretty fun. We just like paused at the same point, then we pressed play, and then we just chatted as we watched the episode. But
Mm.
I think that I'm gonna have to do this as a second watch all the time, which is what I did this time because I don't
Do
know,
you
like
miss a lot?
yeah, like
Yeah.
I did, like I think I told you I did that. I watched Sandman from last year, and I had been watching it and chatting in Discord, and I missed a lot. So yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I had made the watch party watch a rewatch. But yeah, it ended up being pretty important. So, and I feel like I could talk more freely with other people because I had already seen things. So it like works two
Yeah,
ways.
I think that's definitely true.
But something else that I'm probably going to be doing going forward is we played Silo Bingo. I made like little tiles, and like I had this link that people could generate cards, and then before the watch party I just started throwing tiles in chat, and like people could just click it. It was pretty fun. I liked the website that it was, so I'm probably gonna do that for Lucifer too. So.
No, I can't do that. I have to watch the episodes. Otherwise, I will be of no use to you. I have to pay attention.
All right, so that wraps it up. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Wires from the Deep. Be sure to follow us or subscribe on your podcasting platform of choice, and be sure to join the Down Deep Discord. Tune in for our next episode when we'll break down episode 2, Holston's Pick. Thank you for listening.
All right. See you in about an hour.
Bye.